Hello and welcome back to another guide here on FS25. This one is for the cows and we're going to run through everything to do with the cows from the breeds to what they produce. And by the end of it, hopefully you'll be able to choose your cows better according to what you want to do, and you'll be able to grow everything you need for them on your farm. So first of all, let's take a look at the breeds. We'll just select this pen here. So we can choose from Brown Swiss, Holstein, Angus, Limousin and Water Buffalo. I'm probably still pronouncing the Limousin one wrong, but I'm sure you'll let me know in the comments. So there is two different types of cattle. We have the beef and the dairy. So the dairy cows are this Brown Swiss ones here. The Holsteins, they will produce milk. The last dairy one is the Water Buffalo, which produces buffalo milk. The reason I'm separating the two, even though they're dairy, is because you can do different things with the end milk product. And we can come to that later in the video when we speak about the productions you can put the milk into and what you can make for a final end product to make you even more profit. So the Water Buffalo will produce buffalo milk, Holstein and Brown Swiss are milk. Then your beef cattle is the Angus and Limousin cows. They are reared purely for beef production. So you're raising them, they don't produce anything other than slurry or manure. Manure can only be provided with any animal as long as you put straw into the enclosure. It will not work with this one, as you can see here. You will not get slurry or manure from them. We can come to that later on in the video as well, where we tell you all about how to put that stuff out in your field, what it does and how much you kind of need for it as well. But for now, the cost of the cows as well. I will say first, the transport fee gets very expensive, although it doesn't look like it just now. It's $50 for the 0 months or newborns. It's $65 for 6 months and $100 for 18 months old as well. That is the cost per cow. Not if you buy 10 at once, it's not going to be $100, or if you buy 100, you're going to times that 100 by however many you buy. So if we just quickly select this one here, we've got 42 cows we can put in here. So we select 42, it's $4,200 to transport them, not just 100. So beware of that when you come to transport cows. It may be more beneficial for you to look at some sort of transport. We're going to look at that in just a minute. So the dairy cows here, $200 for the newborns, $525 for the 6 months and $1,175 for the 18 months. The only difference there is it's more cost effective to take them from 0 months, obviously because of the difference in price. The advantage to 18 months is you've only got 10 months to wait until you get your first calf, because the gestation period or reproduction period for these are 10 months. So at 18 months old, they are mature enough to be ready to start reproducing, and 10 months time after that, so at 28 months old, they'll have their first calf. It's the same price and situation for the Water Buffalo. Again, a 10 month, both the beef and the dairy breeds are all 10 months gestation period. But it's the same price for Water Buffalo as well. It's slightly different for beef. The end price as well is slightly different. We can take a look at the spreadsheet later on in this video. So the final price you can sell it for is around the 36 to 38 month old period. That's when they're worth the most money. So you can buy these slightly more expensive, but they do have a very, I think it's almost double actually, double the final cost of the dairy cows. You can sell the Angus cows for, I think it's either $3,000 or $3,500 at the peak price. So for buying the Angus or the Limousin cows, it's $300 for newborns, $975 for 6 months old, and $2,325 for 18 months old. It is the same price here if we look down at the transport fee for the Angus cows and the Limousin as it is for all the dairies. So $50, $65 and $100 per cow. Right, we're going to have a look at the transport options now, so I'll just get that set up. I think we have one down here, so we're just going to jump over there and take a look. Well, here we have our two different options for animal transport. For the cows, they will transport sheep as well, and pigs also for both of these options. But for here, this one only transports 6 cows at one time and costs $25,000. Whereas this one will only transport 12 cows, so only double, but it's 5 times the cost at $125,000. This one here, the TTW 140, it will be able to be pulled by a Jeep or a tractor. And this one here can be pulled by a tractor or a truck. but for pulling it with a tractor, you do need this dolly attachment here, which is about $18,000. So that is the two options for animal transport. Obviously, it's not very profitable if you're only doing 10 or 20 cows every 24 months. You would need to be doing operations in the hundreds. The way I would probably do it to space out the transport, because it does take a while, and obviously even with a bigger trailer, you can only do 12 at a time. If you were to buy them at 0 months old, in sets of 10, 20 or 30 per month, and do that every month ongoing, you will get to a point that you'll be selling that 10, 20 or 30 every month, giving you the profit from the sale of the animal. And obviously you can save on transport costs, because obviously if you're transporting 120 cows at $100 each at sale price, that's 12,000. 120 cows at $100 a piece is $12,000 in transport alone. So that's half of this little trailer paid off already. Obviously, if you're doing this year in, year out, and you're just going to keep doing that and building up the cows you've got, this would be the better option to do it with, because you've got more space. You can do essentially one run with this is 2 runs of that. So this makes more sense for a bigger operation. But that is the only 2 options we've got in the game as standard. There will be mods. I'm not sure. I haven't actually looked at the site in ages, or the mod hub through Giants recently, or within the last sort of 2 to 3 weeks at least. So there may well be different options there available to you at different prices, and may possibly hold a lot more animals than that, just for the speed and productivity of your farm. So it's whatever suits you best, but that is the 2 main options from in the game. Everything I will mention in this video and all the guides we're doing will not include mods. It is all base game stuff, so you can find all of this in the game. There's no need to go anywhere else to look for third-party mods or anything anyone has created. But let's move on to the next part. Where do we keep them? What do they produce? And what do they do? And what do we need for it? So starting off with where we can keep the cows. This is the cheapest option available to us at $15,000. But we have increased the pasture size. It is available on every one. We'll just take a quick look. It's available on every one of the cattle sheds here. So all of them have a customizable pasture. So when you click on it there, and once you've clicked on where you want to put it, we can actually do it over here just to give you a little idea. So if I just set one down here, at the moment you can see in the bottom down here it says this one can hold 7 cows. So if we bear that in mind, 7 cows, we'll click there. It says, do you want to customize the fence? If we click no, it'll give us the standard fence that comes with it, and we can only put in a maximum of 7 cows. But if we click yes to customizing it, we have these 2 green bars. So now we can select to put the fence anywhere we want. It does cost money. So obviously that was $2,000. There's another 6, another 4, another 6, and back here. Before I click there, we've just put in this big section here, which is about $6,000. If we look up on the menu here, it says to delete the last segment, we press H. Now if we watch the money here and press H, we've removed that last segment, but we have not gained the money back. So just be cautious. Try and not do massive lengths at a time, like if you're doing a big pen like this. It doesn't say it's owned there, but $12,000, $13,000 for that run of fence there. If you placed that by accident and needed to move it over slightly, or change the direction of it, you need to delete that whole segment. You're not going to get back that 13,000. So just be aware of that when you come to make your pastures. Try and do it in little segments. It's going to cost the same amount of money in the end to do the size you want, even if it's in little segments of $1,000 per time round as you go. So just keep that in mind when you come to make your pasture. But when you come to finish it, just click that last fence post on the other green bar there, and it says, do you want to plant the meadow for the cow pasture? We're going to click no here because we have another one already set up. But if we remember there, 7 cows was the maximum we could get in this before we changed the pen size. So now we should be able to increase that. And it tells us here, we can now get 22 cows in this pasture. So much larger for not much more cost. The only difference to this is this will not produce manure or slurry. You have to feed them. They will not produce anything. You cannot milk them because there is no milking parlour for them. The only thing that this is really good for is for rearing the cattle. If you have small animals or newborns, you can transfer them to this pen to wait till they're fully grown. making room in your big barn where you can actually collect the products like your slurry manure and your milk. The difference with this one is this is the only one in the game that has it. You have to provide water for this. My theory behind this is that the buildings are assumed to have electric and water utilities fed to them, but they do charge you a very small amount per month for having the building on your farm, but it's nothing compared to what you'll get from the profit from the animals. So this needs water and cannot do milk. It will not let you collect slurry or manure, so it is basically a rearing pen for placing newborns. That's what I would use it for. But it's very cheap and cost effective for starting off if you're going to buy all 0-month-old cows. Moving on to these other barns, if you select, obviously we've seen the cow pasture we've just made, we selected yes and made the pasture. If you select no, it puts down the standard fence size like these two buildings. These are identical, we didn't change the fence at all. The only thing we did do is select no for putting the pasture in. As you can see, that side of the fence has barley growing and this side of the fence has barley growing too. So it is a benefit more for looks than anything. It doesn't benefit the cows in any way apart from if you run out of feed. In fact, we could probably see this in our menu. It won't be that one. Where are we here? So this is where I did the test for the water buffalo to find out what is best, what the feeds are, and what milk you get as well. As you can see, we've put no straw in, so we're not going to have a manure pit. We didn't collect manure, we just did slurry. But meadow grass, which is what is put into that pen if you select yes for the meadow, you get about 2,200 litres for a standard size pen. It's only 40% effective for their growth, for their health and productivity. If your feed runs out, if you have total mixed ration, some hay, some silage, some grass and meadow grass, if you have all of these bars, if you have some in each of them, they will use total mixed ration first, and when it runs down to 0, it's going to use hay. When it runs down to 0, it's going to go to silage and so on. If you have total mixed ration and silage but no hay, once total mixed ration is finished, it'll go on to silage. It'll go to the next one that's got feed in it. Obviously this one's been fed on grass since it was born, and as you can see, we'll just do this quickly while we're here. It's 38 months old, it has never had calves, its health is at 0%, it's got 0 buffalo milk, it's got a minimal amount of slurry, no productivity, and it's just been being fed on grass. So grass is a no-go if you want to use cattle, because as I said earlier, the dairy cows max out at about $1,500 per cow. This one is almost just over a third of that value at $583 per cow. So grass is no use. If you run out of total mixed ration hay or silage that you're feeding them, it will go on to meadow grass and they will start eating that provided it isn't one of the winter months. I think it runs through November to the end of February. I think they kind of class the winter for the meadow. Every map may be different with their different cycles of the months and how they run the seasons. But when they start eating the meadow grass, depending how long you notice, it may affect their productivity, their health, it may pause the reproduction. You will slow down the milk production if it's the dairy cows, potentially the slurry production as well, and manure if you've put straw in as well, and it may potentially reduce the overall price as well. So that's really important if it's coming close to the window where you're going to sell them and they're eating just meadow grass or grass and you've not noticed, the price could drop, and it could drop quite significantly, quite quickly if you leave it for several days unattended. But the only difference between that two is obviously this meadow grass. They can use this to eat when their feed runs down to 0, although we would try and avoid that because it's not beneficial to the cows and it hurts your profit in the end. But it is essentially for looks. This looks more like a pasture for cows. I haven't actually tested it, we could probably jump through a few months, but this I would imagine will grow the same as the field outside the pasture. But other than that, it's just going to stay as the ground it was below. So make the fence as big as you want. Obviously it can only work on the land you own. It is limited to what you can go around. I haven't tried it around buildings yet, but it will work around some trees. So you can have trees in the enclosure as well for some looks to make it feel more like a normal farm, as we would say, not a farm in a game with just a bare field. You can have trees in it. But we would recommend putting the pasture, the meadow grass in as well, because it just looks and feels like it should be. But let's jump on to something else here. We're going to have a quick look around the barns we've got up here as well. it's at this side. So as we can see here in our little info box, we have 3 animals there. They're all at different ages. We've got 570 litres of buffalo milk, we have 7,000 litres of slurry, and 2,300 litres of meadow grass. The difference between this, I'm at the wrong side here, it needs to be this side. This is where I was on about the grass just at that other pen. That's not right. Oh, I'm in the wrong menu. It's this one we need to look at. So this is the pen we're at just now. So they've been fed on total mixed ration. 36 or 37 months is the highest price for water buffalo. They hit $1,500 per cow and then they start to come down. This one's been fed on total mixed ration. So its health is at 100%, productivity is 100%. We have gained some buffalo milk. We've not fed straw because we're not looking to do manure, but we've got 8,800 litres of slurry, so almost 3 times the amount of the one fed on just grass. So total mixed ration is giving us 100% effectiveness. Hay is more cost effective to feed them. Although it says 80%, you will reach 100% health, you will get calves from it, it will reach 100% productivity, but the only difference is you're going to get slightly less buffalo milk. If you give them straw, they're going to get slightly less manure, and again the slurry is slightly less. But for the cost difference between the two, it's probably better sticking to feeding them just hay. As you can see, they've not touched the meadow grass as we didn't let it run down to empty with a total mixed ration. But they've also had 2 calves as well. So that is the difference between feeding them grass and feeding them either hay or total mixed ration. I should have one fed, there we go. So the difference between that two is 713 litres of buffalo milk and 570 litres. And then 7,000 litres of slurry to 8,800 litres. If you're looking to fertilise your field with the slurry and manure, probably better off feeding them total mixed ration. But I will say, adding mineral feed to the TMR, the total mixed ration, makes no difference to the slurry or manure production or their overall cost or how quick they reproduce, their health, their productivity, anything. It is just an add-in to make it look more realistic, but it's only going to affect your cost of input for feeding the cattle. You're not going to get that back in any other way. Right, let's take a look at what to feed them. We have a barn down this side here, and we can see how to feed them and what we need. Well, just before we run down to that barn and put the feed in there, we'll take a quick look here. So this is what you need to feed the cows for a TMR ration. This is obviously your hay bales, 8,000 litres each, and the straw, 9,000 litres, and the silage is only 5,000 litres. So we need to bear that in mind with the different sizes when we come to making the rations. This one here is a Silo King trailed line mixer. I can't remember the exact capacity. Oh, it's there, 45,000 litres, 45 metre cubed. This is the largest kind of one you can get in the game that is on its own. It's not a self-propelled vehicle. There is 2 of them in the game, but we're sticking to these ones here because they're a lot cheaper and probably more cost effective for you starting up. But as you get closer here, you can see the bars. It's probably easier there. On the top left there, you can see the mixing ratio for it. So it gives you how much ratio you've got for your grass, your silage, your straw, your hay, silage, straw, and obviously your mineral feed as well. So it will give you the percentage number, and it gives you bars of where to keep it in the best kind of placement for making the ideal TMR mix. With all of our spreadsheet information, when we've made TMR, we've done a 40-40-20 mix or a 40-40-19-1, which means we've done 40% of hay, 40% silage, 20% of straw, or in the other mix, we've done 19% of straw and 1% of mineral feed as well. So that's the 40-40-20. So you would put in 1 bale of hay. We'll just put that in. Now you can see that bar is going up now, 100%. It's way past the green bar. So to balance that out, we're going to put 1 bale of silage in. Now this is obviously smaller, so it's not going to reach so high. That's almost bringing us, there we go. So that's the start of it. Now we're within the green bars. It should kind of even out now. So about almost 60-40 there. So if we put in another silage bale, going by my calculations, this should work out right. I'll put another hay bale in, and finally 1 more silage just to even out. That's pretty close to in the middle. Now to finish off the mix, the straw is only a filler. But if we put this all in, it may disrupt the mix too much. So we're just going to hold it in. In fact, we may even get away with just putting the whole bale in there, I think. That'll do just now, just for testing. So now we have the perfect mix. This is total mixed ration. As you can see on the bottom right there, we've got 36,658 litres, and it is total mixed ration, so that is ready to go. Everything is within the green bars. So there we've got a 43% hay, 40% silage, and 15% of straw. So here's where you can put in the mineral feed. You don't need much. Don't go and throw the whole pallet into a mix. You can get away with just putting a little bit in. I don't know if it's going to let us actually do that. I think not. No. Oh, that's perfect. Right, if I drop the whole thing in, will it do anything? No. Right, usually if you hold a telehandler over there, or there is bags, if we just jump into the store, if we go into their food here, that's where you would pick up the pallets. I think there is meant to be, I can't actually remember what it is, but I'm sure you can get bags, individual bags as well for them. I just can't remember where they were. Is it in here? No. So yeah, a telehandler, until I can find the bags, we're just going to assume that it is only the pallet in the game. If you lift it up with a telehandler and hold it over the top, it will start to unload the bag slowly one by one, and you'll see the percentage. You only need about 1 or 2% of mineral feed, and you can take off that 1 or 2% from the straw you put in, because straw is only a filler. They get the main ingredients from the hay and the silage. So that's a quick rundown on how to make TMR. It's the same for any sort of mixer wagon here. You just put in the right ratio, find out how much you can fit in it at once. I'm assuming this is a smaller, it's a 142, so I'm imagining 14,200 litres is the maximum capacity. So you just adjust your ratios and put in what you need. It will work if you hold the telehandler or your front loader with a bale on over the top of it and put it down just enough. It should start taking out of that bale and adding it to your mix, so you can still take the bale out if you get too much or you're very close to the limit of the actual machine. But now, before we load into this one, we're going to take a quick look here. This is the biggest pen we can get in the game. Obviously you've got different amounts. This one's 85,000 that we showed you over there with the 2 pastures. That one's lighting up in blue. That's 85,000 and holds 35 cows. This one holds 99 and $170,000. This is the best priced for not extending the pasture manually, or the fences, because it holds 99 cows. The other ones, 50 cows, 96 and 93. And this is the best priced one for that. This doesn't need any water like that little pen does in the middle of the field. This will also collect milk, slurry and manure if you want it. So this is the kind of the middle one to go with. It gives you the most room for cows, and it is one of the cheaper ones as well. Moving up to the 50 cow one, we've got $254,000, $518,500 for 96 cows. Or this one we've placed here is $722,500, and that will give you 93 cows. The only difference between this 518,000 and the 722,000, as you can see, they both look identical apart from this little bit here. This is an automatic feed mixer from Lely. Now in here we have a selection of different products. So we've got 2 pallets of mineral feed on the telehandler there. Down here we've got silage in the first one, hay in this next one, and straw in this last one. If we take a look back here, we can see each of these little compartments here. So this is for your hay, that's for your straw, and this big one here is for your silage. So to feed the animals here, you don't need a mixer wagon, so potentially saving you almost $100,000. You basically take your product, your raw product, with a trailer. We can actually test this in a minute with a bale to see. I think it would take bales as well, because this is just a trigger. So you would just reverse in here and unload into there. And then when it's ready to feed the cows, it'll keep it topped up automatically itself. as it goes and keeps them fed. So now we're going to put in some hay. I don't know how much it's going to let us put into there, but let's just jump into this one and put in some silage. There we go. And finally, we're going to put in some straw. It's going to take the whole trailer by the looks of it. And you can see on the floor there as well, it is starting to increase in volume as it gets pushed onto the floor. So there we go, the hay is full, the straw is filling up. Silage is done and the straw is done. Oh, slightly less straw. Well, that is that bit done. We're going to put in some mineral feed, which I haven't actually tested yet. We're going to see if this works. I'm assuming mineral feed goes in the corner here because this has a little silo for it. Oh, it definitely does. It's on the wall there. So I'm not sure how much it's going to take, but right, so it definitely takes 2 pallets, so there's plenty of room in there. Now if we jump into our menu, we should be able to select the cow barn up here. That one there. Right, it says there's no animals, so it's probably not going to show the feed yet because the feed hasn't been made and distributed to either silage, hay or TMR. So let's run round. And where would we be? So that's your slurry point to pick up the slurry. You would just drive the tanker under there, press R, and it'll pull the slurry out of there and into your tanker for spreading on the fields. Now at this side, this is where you pick up the milk. You'll see all the icons on all the sheds. They're the same, so this is where you pick the milk up from. Manure, slurry is that side. The manure is slightly different. If you feed them straw, or put straw in as bedding through a straw blower, which would need to be pushed in through here, so it puts straw in there. You can collect manure, but you have to place a manure pit somewhere around here. We'll just quickly go through. So in construction, and then into this first one here for sheds, and I think it's in silos. Here we go. So $25,000 and it holds 4 million litres of manure. And if we go far enough away, it might not show it. Usually you have to keep them quite close. So picking a place that's best, probably there. So that's that placed. That just holds the manure. You can put additional, if there's not enough room there for your slurry and you're trying to hold it all year until the time you need to use it for fertilizing your fields and you're trying to keep it in bulk. There is ones here for like liquid manure. You can store 500,000 litres in there. I think there is extensions you can use as well. So for $65,000 you can get another 500,000 litre extension, or for $158,000 you can get a 2.6 million litre extension. It is quite large. Ah, there we go. So the extension tank needs to be placed to a barn or othered manure tank. So you obviously need to have it quite close there. But if we place down, say that one there first, we should be able to get this one placed further away. Maybe not. It's maybe for the main one, which is not an extension. So this one here, if we place that there, go back into extensions, and here, yeah, so we can place it further away now. Same with manure, it usually has to be kept quite close to where your animals are kept or where you're wanting to draw the manure from. But it will tell you, as you see with the little red icon, the little red text that comes up to say you can't put it there, it needs to be closer. So finally, to see the feeding here, we are just going to buy, I think for easiness, we're going to buy a load of these. So we're just going to buy 106 of them to fill the barn. So now we should be able to see, it's still not come through. Right, we maybe need to activate this. Maybe we don't. I didn't think there was an icon to activate it outside. Well, we're going to find out. There was something there on the corner. Maybe it was something else. Nope. So yeah, it doesn't look like there's any option there. Let's just fast forward time quickly and see if we can get any update there. It maybe needs to pass 1 hour in the game. I think that may be the reason. So that's it there. Ah, okay. So they are now emptying again a little bit. So we should... We've still not got any. It definitely is. We've only got the one barn with a feeding robot. That's odd. So why are they not being fed? Right, I'm going to take a quick look into this and see if we can figure out why, and I will get back to you in just a second. Well, we skipped into the next day and it's just coming up for the next hour now. And the trailers are all opening up to empty more feed in. So it is using the feed, but it is not showing up here as TMR or hay or silage. It has said the total capacity is of meadowgrass. However, as we know, meadowgrass and grass are the same percentage, and with grass, their health doesn't reach 100%, nor does their productivity. They don't produce any milk and minimal slurry. Obviously, we fast forwarded into today. Obviously, we bought 18-month-old cows, so they're going to start producing milk straight away. So because we've got 100% productivity and health, the milk, we've already got 9,100 litres of milk and 23,500 litres of slurry. I'm assuming it is making the total mixed ration, but it's just not showing up in the numbers here. I don't know why. I've been all around this. I don't know if this is a glitch as well, but you can run straight through this wall and right through here out the other side. So I don't know what's going on. There's no options anywhere to say to activate or to start this up in any way. So I don't know if there maybe is a glitch. Not 100% sure on that one, but it is definitely taking it. As you see, the trailers have been emptying on the hour, every hour, and they are increasing in health. So I'm assuming it does work. It's just maybe a minor glitch that no one has picked up on, or nobody's bought this yet and reported back to Giants, but I think I will do that just in case you want to use this barn and you think it's not working. So that's how you feed them from that barn. It should work. I think it does, because we're getting milk and the productivity is 100%. Same with this forage wagon. We will just take this up to the other barn here, which should take total mixed ration because it should be quite empty now. With this on the menu there, you can see on the top left, it says just kind of 3/4 of the way down that menu, it says tip side left front, and you can press U to change it. So it goes right front, left back, right back, and then back to left front. As you can see here, there's a little section at the back here. There is this bit here as well. That's where the feed comes out. So now we're currently sitting on left. So if I pull into this shed this way, and we were to unload the feed using I, it's going to come out the left side of the mixer there. Or it should. I don't know what's... Oh, maybe that one's full, that's why. Oh no, it's working now. There you go. So to change that, we'll press U, and we can go to right front, which is there. And then we'll move to right back as well, which comes out there. So you would just drive through as you were feeding them normally, and it'll offload the feed until the barn is full, and then it will stop automatically. So that's the easy way to feed them. We'll just check that. There's definitely nothing changed there. And it's definitely the right barn we're on, because we bought 106. So yeah, it must just be a glitch there. I'm not sure exactly what is happening. But that's the best way to make total mixed ration, the 40-40-20 ratio. Or if you want to use mineral feed, it makes no difference to the cost and the production of anything to do with the cattle. You can do, and you can do a 40-40, 19 or 18, and then a 1 or 2% with your mineral feed. And then obviously with this one, you can put bales in, and you can use the trailers with the raw materials in and offload them directly, and it will automatically feed itself. So that's the feeding done. Let's get on to the next bit about what they can produce with the milk, the slurry, and the manure. Now we're moving on to the final bit of them producing the slurry and manure, or it's the second last bit, should I say. So we've got a few different options here. You can use both to fertilize your fields, but they will be consumed much faster than standard liquid fertilizer or the solid fertilizer pellets as well. So make sure you've got plenty in your storage to do this, as it will go through it very quickly. So for this, we've got the manure spreaders. Obviously, if you put straw into your cow barn, it will produce manure, provided you have that manure pit down the side. We can't really see it from here. But you will need the manure pit for this. So first up, we've got the Farm Tech. It's the VarioFX 750. $32,500 for this. It only holds 4,900 litres and has an 8 metre working width. And the slightly larger one holds 9,000 litres with a 12 metre working width, but it's going to cost you $36,500, so slightly more expensive. And then you get this one, which is much bigger. It holds 30,300 litres and it has a 24 metre working width, so absolutely huge. It's double compared to the other one there. But it will cost you $149,500, so it is not cheap by any means. And then for the slurry, you will need the dribble bar. This little one here and this one come with it. This one is an additional add-on. You have to buy that and the tank separate. We'll just come to that in a second. So the small one here, this is the FarmTech Super Sys 800. It holds 8,200 litres, has a 15 metre work width, and costs $31,500. This one from Flegel is a Max Line Plus. It's $102,000, an 18,000 litre capacity, and again 15 metre work width, so an extra 10,000 litres of capacity in here, but the same work width as this little one at $31,000, but this is 102. Finally, this huge one. It has a 36 metre working width for the dribble bar, and it costs itself $125,000. So that is just for this bit with the green lines on it. That is all that bit is. And the tanker itself can hold 32,000 litres, but it costs $258,500. So if you're wanting to do it quicker and less trips back and forth to the slurry or manure pit, you need the bigger one, obviously. But with that, if you want an increased working width or capacity, you need to spend the money on it. So the biggest ones there, we've got this one here for the manure, $149,500, and this one here, $258,500 plus $125,000 for the dribble bar on it as well. So not cheap, but either option is fine. And whatever one you want to go for, there's no benefit over manure or slurry. They both do the same thing. They will both give you one fertilization stage, or they can give you two. When you're in it and it's full of manure or manure or slurry, it will give you the option on your menu on the top left there to put a double application or a double application rate. When you press, I think it's M or N, and what that does is it will use even more, even quicker. But it gives you the two fertilization stages with one pass of the machine. So that's to bear in mind as well, but you will need a lot to cover that double application. It will go through it very, very quickly. I think, from what I remember, slurry goes through it much quicker than manure. So you will need several 100,000 litres in storage on your farm. But for now, let's take a look at the spreadsheets we've compiled for the cows. So the cost to feed one cow from 0 to 28 months for the 3 dairy cows is $2,488 for TMR with mineral feed, $2,433 for TMR, and $4,171 for hay. For the beef cows, $3,965 for TMR with mineral feed, $3,878 for just TMR, and $6,649 for hay. All of that costs, as it says, is from bales purchased at the store. Obviously, this will be much cheaper using your own equipment. But the profit per cow sold at 28 months, they're all in the minus. You're going to lose money doing it from bales with the store. Again, this will be very different if you was to use your own equipment in your field, cutting your own grass and doing the work yourself. Even hiring a worker, it will work out much cheaper. But across the board, $988 for the dairy cows with TMR with mineral feed, that's a loss. $933 loss for feeding just TMR with no mineral feed, and minus $2,671 for hay. Beef cows, an $800 loss for the TMR with mineral feed, $712 loss for the TMR with no mineral feed, and $3,483 loss for the hay. So let's take a quick look at the equipment. Assuming you've got your tractors, the telehandlers, and all the things you need, and the field. This is the specific stuff you would need for grass works. So we've got a mower at $30,500, a tedder at $16,500, a windrower at $19,500, a baler, which is a round baler, at $60,500, a wrapper at $16,000, and a mixer wagon at $55,000, so a total of $198,000 worth of equipment. So as we can see here, if we have 100 cows fed with TMR, the dairy cows make no difference at the ages because they start to lose value. They peak really early and lose value later on at about 36 months, but selling them at either 24 to 34 months, $150,000. $300,000 for your beef cattle at 24 months and $350,000 at the best price at 36 months. So if we had the milk from 100 dairy cows at 24 months is 167,000 litres and at 34 months is 302,000 litres. The water buffalo is only producing 33,249 litres at 24 months and 68,349 litres at 34 months old. The best price of milk in the game is 2,289 litres for your 2 dairy cows and $11,445 for the water buffalo. So going with that figures, if you sold your cows at the best price with the milk, if you sold the milk at the best price from the 100 dairy cows, 24 months you get $382,000 from your 2 dairy cows, $380,000 for the water buffalo. Now the water buffalo overtakes at 34 months, $782,000 for them and $691,000 for the 2 dairy cows. So if we include the profit from the dairy cows being sold and the milk, we would get a total of $532,000 for your 2 dairy cows at 24 months, $530,000 for the water buffalo. Now the water buffalo comes back on top again at 34 months, you get almost $1 million, $932,000 there, and $841,000 for the 2 dairy cow breeds. So at the end, if we take off the $198,000 for your equipment, assuming you have everything else, $334,000 profit at 24 months for your 2 dairy cows, or at 34 months, $643,000. $332,000 for the water buffalo at 24 months and $734,000 at 34 months. And finally, the beef cattle, because they don't have milk or anything else, it's just the cows, $102,000 for them at 24 months and $152,000 for them at 34 months. Well, now for the final bit in this guide for FS25 for the cows. As you can see from earlier, we did say that the barley here might grow in this pasture, and it has indeed. So that just shows you whatever is under there and you haven't put the pasture down, it will grow or continue growing. In here, as you can see, the grass has kind of died off because we are now in November. So I think it is November, December, January and February where this meadow grass may not be able to feed the cows. We can quickly check in the menu here to see if it is still a thing. We'll choose one of these. It's still showing that the meadow grass is there, but obviously it does look pretty killed off for the year. So I wouldn't rely on that throughout the winter months, but let's go down to the productions. So as we can see here, well, not there, that's the cow barn. As we can see here, we have the dairy and we have a bakery. If these are on the map as standard, which they should be in a standard map for FS25, obviously this is the new frontier with the 69 farmlands, that's what this map is. This isn't on the map, the only one is showing up as the sawmill, which if we go here and it says available. So on the map, if you haven't bought it, all of the productions will be shown in this menu here and in the available. If you have purchased them, or I think it's the same for leasing, it comes up in owned, but it comes up in brackets here, leased or leasing. So you can lease productions. I think that is a mod, which is very handy if you only want to use it for a short period of time. Say you have 200,000 litres of milk, you're putting all through the production, but you're going to get rid of the cows and you're going to go on to pigs or do something different. You don't want to buy the dairy and have that outlay and be stuck with it. So you can lease the productions as well. It's a very cost efficient way of doing it. So for here, as you've seen in the spreadsheet, we've got the numbers from doing the individual cow, what they eat, what they produce, and the milk. And we showed you from 100 cows fed with TMR, you can get 302,000 litres of milk for the dairy cows, not the buffalo. We'll come to that in a second. So at 34 months old, 302,000 litres of milk will sell for $691,278. But if we were to take all that milk we've collected over the 34 months from that 100 cows and put it into a production, we're going to say we put it into the dairy. So if we take all that milk, put it in, we can make cow's milk, bottled cow's milk, cheese, chocolate and butter. For the chocolate, which is here, you're going to need sugar in addition to milk. So we're not going to go through that just now, because that you need to have sugar in the fields, you need to harvest it, the sugar cane, the sugar beet, process all that and get it through on a different factory, which is the sugar mill, to produce the sugar to then put it into the dairy to make chocolate. But that's a whole different thing, that's for the production video. So for here, if we say for instance that we want to run the milk from 100 cows at 34 months old into this dairy and produce butter, which is here, that's going to get you 261,700 litres on average, going by my figures. That's going to what's going to output from the 302,000 litres you put in. You're going to get 261,700 litres back out, because there's a 15 litres of milk input with a 13 litre of butter output. That's going to get you $944,200, which is a $200,000 or just under $200,000 more just for putting it through the production to get butter in the end result. There is differences between them. They'll obviously, all the recipes will change, and the cycles per month, the cycles as well. It will say there's so many cycles per month, and that just means it's the amount of recipes that are processed each month. So with this one here, we've got 480 cycles a month, and there's 15 milk in to 13 butter out. So it's going to produce this 15 into 13 480 times in 1 month. So if you're doing 1 month days, it's going to do all that in 1 day. If you're running 2 day months, it's going to do half of this 1 day and half of this the next day. But that is your total cycles for the month. So that's all the cycles means. It is just the amount of times this will run per month, and then obviously your cost per month is $24, but it may change. So there we go, 744 cycles, but although it's double the cycles as the milk, the goat's milk only needs 3 and outputs 10. So just watch that for the recipes. If you don't have it already, like for here, we don't own this, but it's available. If you click on the different options, it gives you what it can produce. So we can put 208 litres in for all of these, but it'll produce 138 planks long, 205 planks, or 125 wood beams. So it will tell you what it requires for the recipe for each one. So if you were to input cow's milk and to get the chocolate, obviously you need sugar, so it's going to be a lot more. For here, it only takes 1 milk, 1 sugar to produce 1 chocolate, but again, we've got 2,500 of them cycles per month. So it's going to be 2,500 litres of milk and 2,500 litres of sugar in to get 2,500 litres of chocolate out. That will net you, if you have the sugar as well, $1.9 million if you were to put in all of that 302,000 litres of milk. Same again, if we were to produce cheese from the cows, it's 3 milk in to 2 cheese out, 1,320 cycles of that per month. That's going to net you 201,300 litres of cheese in the end, and at $1.2 million. This is where it gets interesting. The buffalo milk, which is here, you put 10 buffalo milk in, you get 20 bottled buffalo milk out. So it doubles what you put in. So going by that, if we were to use the buffalo milk to produce, the standard buffalo milk to produce buffalo mozzarella, because you get a lot less, you're going to get 45,500 litres of mozzarella, the same at the 34 months, which I think is 67,000 litres of buffalo milk you'll get over the 34 months. That's going to net you $1.1 million for 45,500 litres. But if we were to make the bottled milk, the buffalo bottled milk, the output doubles. So that means you put 1,500 litres in, it's going to get you 3,000 litres of bottled milk out. Putting in what you get over 34 months from the buffaloes, that's going to generate you $1.13 million. So just remember the productions are slightly different there. Some of these have doubled. I think, yep, goat's milk is the same. And I'm assuming it's the same for this too. Yep, so put 10 milk in from the cows and you get 20 bottled back out again. This is where you can also put in the goat's milk and goat's cheese as well. The cheese from the cows will only accept the cow ones. The buffalo can only do the ones with the buffalo logo on it, which is buffalo mozzarella and buffalo milk. You can also do it with this, with the buffalo milk. It doesn't have the icon there, but it does have it in brackets. Just a quick look at the bakery. You will need other items here for this. So for instance, the bread we can't do with the milk because that takes flour only. But for the cake, we need flour, sugar, milk, bottled, so you can't just put your raw milk in. It has to go through and be bottled first and then put into the bakery. But if we remember about the bottled milk, if you put in 1,000 litres, you're getting 2,000 litres back out. So you're going to get more milk in the end to use for the bakery. You will also need eggs, butter and strawberries. So all of that, 8 litres of each, will produce 21 litres of cake, and that recipe will run 48 times in 1 month. So to make this recipe, if you were going to do it, you would need the grain mill to do your wheat, barley or oats to make flour. I think it also does sorghum. I would have to double check that, but we can run over that in the production video. You will need to grow the sugar, put it through the sugar factory or the sugar mill to produce sugar to then put in here. Your milk, as we said, from the cows need to go through the dairy to be bottled to then put into here. It does look like it just says cow's milk, so I don't think buffalo milk's going to work here. Although it would be silly to put buffalo milk into here because it's more cost effective for you to make something else with it, like the mozzarella. You'll need eggs, obviously, from the chickens. The butter can be taken from the milk. Again, any one of the 3 butters, so from the goats, the buffalo or the dairy cows, can be used here. And then strawberries, we get them from the greenhouses. But that kind of sums up the whole video for the cows. I hope we've covered everything. If I have missed anything, leave a comment below and I'll try and get back to it. Everything I've done in the spreadsheet as well is from what I found on the 3 maps I've ran kind of side by side with the different tests to make sure the numbers are as accurate as I can get. What I've done is the figures I've got, I've averaged them out across the 3 tests to make sure it is as close as possible as I could get it. I'll be doing the same for the other ones like the chicken, the sheep, the goats and the pigs as well. There is a lot of information to take in, so it does take me a bit of time to get this all set up and ready, and the tests obviously done. You've got to keep them fed, you've got to keep track of the feed to figure out what they use, the slurry as well. Obviously we didn't do manure because it just produces manure once you put the manure pit in, but because you need to add the manure pit, we haven't added that as what the cows produce. Only the slurry, because I think it's every barn apart from the basic kind of metal structure in the field, it doesn't produce slurry. Every other barn does a standard hold slurry to a certain amount. I think it's 100,000 litres, and after that you have to put in additional silos for it. But that wraps up the video. We will go and get some sleep in our little cabin here, and we'll see you for the next animal video. So I hope you enjoyed this one. I hope it's been very informative for you. I hope you kind of know what you're doing and how to do it, and what to do, what to place, where to keep the cows, what to feed them, what not to feed them. Obviously grass is a big no if you're wanting to make any sort of money or get calves from the cows, or milk or slurry. So if this has helped you out and you found it interesting, or you just want to subscribe to see the new videos and in future any Let's Plays we do, hit the subscribe button and it'll keep you updated when we post a new one. As I said, if there's anything you think is wrong in the video or we could have added or we did miss, because that may well happen, let us know in the comments below and we will try and update the video or post it in a pinned comment down below. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you got some use out of this, and we'll see you again soon for the next guide for FS25. Thank you very much for watching.